of the CIF section playoffs on SJTV Channel 26, where the St. Mary Rams will take on the hometown Lodi Flames.
The following program is a presentation of Comcast's SJTV. San Joaquin Television. SJTV.
And we're about set to go in round two of the CIF San Joaquin section Les Schwab Tires football playoffs here at the Great Bowl in Lodi. St. Mary's and Lodi, their first meeting here in the 05 season. The Rams won the coin toss, but they are deferring to the second half. And Nick Capraviza, a sophomore who was called up, one of 10 underclassmen called up for the playoffs for the Rams, will kick off. He also kicked off last week in the win against Modesto. Lodi won on this field a week ago against Golden Valley, and we are underway from the 5-yard line. It is the ever-dangerous Matt Fusen for Lodi, and Fusen is stopped shy of the 20. The tackle by Pat Kaufman on special teams. And so at the 18, Lodi will have it. Their quarterback, a senior, Ryan Sheen, a 2-year starter. The backs are Fusen and Sales. The X and the Z are Gillingham and Council. The tight end is Christie. The O-line, very good offensive line with 3 returnees, Garrett, Duenas, Dylan, Blewett, and Wilbur. As Lodi is in the postseason for the first time since '93 on first down, they run with Matt Fusen. No surprise there. Fusen breaks a couple of tackles before he is brought down. Some smash mouth football upcoming. Sam Maffey is the tackler. And Fusen has enough for the first down as he picks up 10. You see the defense there for St. Mary's. Nisby and Jackson, the tackles. Brum and Fegmabila are the ends. Beals, Maffey back from injury, did play last week as well. And Silva, the linebackers. Wilson and Sorrell, the corners. Jim Rigby and Barrows. At about the 29. Fusen. Of course, there was rain earlier today. Maffey in there, also Skylar Jackson. It's a short gain. That's going to be maybe more like 3 there for Fusen. He carried 5 straight times last week in helping bring Lodi back from a 16-7 deficit against Golden Valley. Ryan Sheen converted a couple of 4th downs with runs to help the Flames get in field goal range late in that contest, and it's Cameron Sales, the fullback. He's breaking tackles in the backfield. There's a couple of flags thrown as Benjamin Rigby had him maybe up near the face mask. And so Sales, through the effort, looks like he's going to create the penalty. And we'll get the first call of the night from Dennis Flasky, our referee. And it's a personal foul, so the 15-yard variety. After Sales got about 3, Dennis Flasky is the referee. The umpire is Sam Croninger. The headlinesman is Doug Moore. Back judge is Atomic Flasky, the son of Dennis. And the line judge is Rich Curiel. So the ball for the Flames across midfield on to the 49 of St. Mary's. As the winner of this game will play in the section semifinal, one of the 2 semifinals in D1 next Friday night at either Pittman or West. Sheen looking up top as he goes to the air for the first time. Matt Council, the intended receiver, in coverage over there. Barrows, and also looks like Sorrell for St. Mary's as that falls incomplete. St. Mary's looking to get to the section semifinal game for the 3rd straight time, of course. They beat Franklin last year on their way to the section championship, and 2 years ago they lost in the final by a point to Edison. I guess you could consider that maybe even 3 years ago, back, of course, in '03. Lodi trying to get to the semifinal for the first time since 1976 when they were shut out by Stagg. 2nd and 10. Fusen up the middle. Scanoni in there, Jerry Scanoni. Fusen will get 4, maybe 5. 3rd and 5 upcoming. So early on, already 3 carries for Matt Fusen. You see him already muddied, and I'm sure Many players will be muddied before this night is over. Fuson better than 1,350 yards rushing, 19 touchdowns to lead the Flames, has scored a touchdown in every game since the opener. Of course, Lodi, the 1 seed out of the SJAA, tri-champions with Lincoln and Franklin. On 3rd and 5, Fuson with some work to do, and he's not going to go very far. Maffey in there, Barrows, also Silva, Joe Brum as well, and Fuson looks like he gets 2, and it's going to be 3 yards shy. St. Mary's, of course, lost their first 4 games of the year. They come in at 5-6. The number 2 seed out of the TCAL. An official's timeout here. Of course, the officials are going to have to work hard to keep the ball clean tonight, and Matt Council's on to punt. It's 4th and a long 3, maybe even close to 4. Line of scrimmage is the 44, and it's awfully early in the game to be going for a 4th and 4. If it's a 4th and 1, maybe Lodi thinks about it. And, of course, their head man, Todd Dillon. Looks like the Flames jumped here. Maybe some jitters early on, although this is round 2 of the postseason. Here's Dennis Flasky again. And so it does, in fact, go against Lodi, and they're definitely not going to go for it or fake it here. And the stands are full on each side. That's across the field on the St. Mary's side. And, of course, there's less stands on the visiting side, but the home side is packed here at the Great Bowl. Heck, first playoff game since '93, first at home since the mid-'80s, 85. These kids weren't born yet. And so Council does punt it away at the 20, and that's going to be a reoccurring theme, players losing their footing. It's Jerome Sorrell who went down right where he caught it at the 19. But St. Mary's does stop defensively, and their offense will come onto the field. They have a junior quarterback in Pete Murdaka, a one-back set with Doug Martin, and the receivers, Jim Rigby, Asiji, and Sorrell. Joe Brum will also line up in the slot quite a bit. The O-line, Fagmabila, Gonzalez, Rooney, Nisby, and Gillies. 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 19. A darkened Great Bowl. And on 1st down, St. Mary's runs with Doug Martin. Justin Metler, who's the leading tackler for Lodi, gets a piece of Martin to slow him up. But Doug Martin picks up about 5 there. He is the leading rusher for St. Mary's and has been on quite a tear. Let's get you the defense for Lodi. The tackles are George Duenas and Herman Gaitan. The ends, Pinkard and Galvan. Sauceda, Fuson, and Metler, the linebackers. Todd Dillon calls them the backbone of his team. Council, Dibble are the corners, and Gillingham and Dinero are the safeties. 2nd and 5 from the 24. As 3 receivers stacked over to the right for St. Mary's, and long back is Doug Martin. Sidesteps 1 tackle, but not the 2nd nor the 3rd. Metler and also Galvan. Galvan, the 6th leading tackler, also leads the team in sacks. And Martin's going to lose yardage on that run. 2, it looks like. Maybe only 1. We'll say 3rd and 6. 3rd and a long 6. Upcoming for St. Mary's, I mentioned Doug Martin's been on a tear. In last week's first-round playoff win on the road, 55-34 against Modesto, he went for 240 yards and 5 touchdowns. In his last 4 games, he's averaging 174 and 2.7 touchdowns. There's Murdaka out of the gun. Has some time. And his receiver's unable to hold it. Ben Jimmerigby couldn't hold it. In coverage, Council among others. And so Jimmerigby, one of only 2 starting seniors on offense for St. Mary's. Yeah, just 2 starting seniors. In fact, only 10 total seniors are suited up for St. Mary's tonight. They have more sophomores suited up than seniors. And, of course, the ball is slippery. We'll see, though, who can overcome that. 14 sophomores on the roster for St. Mary's and 1 freshman. Just 10 suited seniors, and here they are in round 2. And it's Capraviza, the sophomore, to punt. Fair catch signaled for. And taking in is Fuson, just shy of the 45 at the 44. So each team has had it once offensively. Nothing to show for it. A punt on each side. Mentioned the last time Lodi was in the postseason was 93. From 93 until this point, St. Mary's has been in the playoffs 10 times. They're regulars in the postseason. Of course, this is the 2nd time since 93. Lodi has been in the postseason. On first down, Matt Fuson takes the handoff from Cheen. Clayton Barrows, the strong safety, is the first to get him. And Fuson's going to get close to midfield, a gain of 4. 2nd and 6 upcoming. And of course, with the field in the condition that it's in, the rain and whatnot, you would think the teams are going to have to win it on the ground, and each has a very good, in fact, outstanding running back in Fuson for Lodi and Martin for St. Mary's, although maybe a DB slips and we could see long pass plays, but the footing just isn't the best. Cheen rolling. Nice catch there by Cameron Sales out of the backfield. Sales moving the ball up the sideline. He gets inside the 35. No, actually inside the 40, I beg your pardon, to about the 39. Pickup of 13, maybe 14 for Cameron Sales, and while he is the fullback, that's now his 20th reception of the season. Also his rush for 257 yards, so certainly gives some options to the Lodi offense that now has it 1st and 10 inside the 40 of St. Mary's. Matt Fuson on first down has stood up. Looked like it might have been Maffey again, who's already been in on a lot of plays. Sam Maffey's just a sophomore, but he's been with the team all season long. Fuson got 2. Maffey, though, injured his MCL against Tokay late in the regular season. Did not play against Edison or West the final 2 games of the regular season, but did come back last week and is starting here tonight. Mention the playoff experience for St. Mary's, not necessarily the guys on the roster because they are so young, but this is now the 10th playoff game St. Mary's has played in the 4 years Tony Franks has been the head coach here in his 2nd stint. 7-2 in the previous 9, including 3-2 on the road. Sales, after some misdirection, falls to the 35. And 3rd and a solid 6 upcoming. Lodi, of course, we saw them in their big win against Lincoln in overtime. That was part of a 6-game winning streak for them. But then they lost 2 of their final 3 regular season games to West and to Franklin. But here they are at 8-3. That pass nearly picked off. Ryan Cheen looking to go over the middle, and Mark Silva, who's a big play guy for this St. Mary's defense, swatted. Gino Beals in the vicinity as well. But Silva, of course, we saw him have a pick in the section championship game last year, the win against Nevada Union, and also returned a fumble for a score in the semifinal a year ago against Franklin. That, of course, is what each of these teams is playing for. A spot in the section semifinal in the south half of the bracket. And a timeout taken here by St. Mary's, maybe to guard against a potential fake. It's 4th and about 6, maybe even 7 upcoming. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Division I playoffs. Of course, this is one of 4 games going on throughout the area tonight. The other in the south half of the section is West and Pittman. And regardless of who wins this game, St. Mary's and Lodi, of course, where we're at right now, they would have to go on the road against either Pittman or West. Lodi and Pittman, if they're both winners, they'd have the same record. But in alternating years, one team has a predetermined tiebreaker, if you will, and of course it would be the CCC against the SJAA. So the winner of this game goes to the semifinals against either Pittman or against West. And then, of course, in the north half of the Division I section, you see 3 teams from the Metro. They all beat one another. There was a 3-way tie. Of course, traditional powers, Nevada Union, Granite Bay, and Grant. And the Napa, the only team in there trying to crash that party out of the MEL. The 2 seed out of the MEL, I have it down as the 1. My bad. So, Lodi to go for it. 3 receivers to the left. It's 4th and at least 6, maybe 7. From the 35, Gillingham, the intended receiver, and it was over his head. And so obviously the timeout well taken there by St. Mary's, though they were scrambling just before the snap. And so the 4th and long, 6, maybe 7, goes incomplete. And on downs, it will go over to St. Mary's. You see Greg Bishop, an assistant. And there's Todd Dillon, the head man in his 8th year at Lodi has never beaten St. Mary's as a head coach, and we have a late arriving Flame. In fact, a couple. And now a timeout taken by Lodi, so each team expending an early timeout, and you see the displeasure there from Chad Dinero. No score, 5:30 showing on the clock in quarter one from the venerable Quagmire-like Great Bowl. Although, to be fair, just about any field outside of field turf is probably not in good shape here on the 25th day of November. I was speaking of Todd Dillon, never has beaten St. Mary's as a head coach. In fact, Lodi has not defeated St. Mary's since the early 90s. 91, in fact, the longest drought against any school. But, of course, they beat Tokay this year for the first time since 94, beat Lincoln this year for the first time since 95, and as we said, are in the playoffs for the first time since 93. So they are definitely extinguishing the shame, igniting the flame on many occasions, and the flame is here. It will be lit with points from Lodi. After the timeout, 1st and 10 Rams at the 35. Doug Martin takes the handoff, nowhere for him to go, but then he busts it to the outside and will fall forward for a yard, maybe two. Fuson over there, Joe Bowles as well. And it looked like the first guy to get a piece of Martin and kind of slow him up was Ricky White. So Martin gets 2, 2nd and 8 upcoming. Doug Martin, just a junior. Four 200-yard games this week, including a career high last week against Modesto of 240. Murdaka taken in by James Patterson. He is met immediately by Chad Dinero, the strong safety. Patterson moves the ball across the 40. Looks like about the 42. A gain of 5, and it is 3rd and 3 upcoming. As Patterson takes it in, the first completion for the Rams offensively. Scoring, of course, 55 last week, their best total of the season. And St. Mary's, I said, 5-6. They got into the playoffs with a sub-500 mark of 4-6. In their wins, they've scored 28 or more. In their losses, 21 or less. Obviously, the Rams want to be in a shootout, though I don't know if that will happen here tonight with the field conditions. Shovel pass to Chris Wilson. It was read beautifully by Sauceda. Raymond Sauceda is there. His brother Rudy, a former Flame. Many former players, in fact, are here at the Great Bowl. Fuson put the pressure on Murdaka, and the shovel went for nothing, so it's 4th and 3. And Capraviza, the sophomore, on to punt. Matt Fuson back at about the 30 for the Lodi Flames. We go under 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. Good kick by Capraviza back to the 21. Fuson somehow stays on his feet, and then he slides after a 4-yard return. Barrows there in coverage. A 37-yard punt by Nick Capraviza. And that's the area, as you watch it again, of the field where it seems to be the muddiest. There, and then obviously the middle of the field. When you go the other direction, the way the Flames are going right now, it seems to be in a little better shape. Thankfully, it's not raining right now. I guess beggars cannot be choosers. Ball's at the 25. Sheen drops it off for Gillingham, the leading receiver for Lodi. Nice game there. Maffey over there. Also Jimmer Rigby. And Gillingham picks up close to 7. See the end of it on the reception by Jeff Gillingham, who has been big as of late for Lodi. 6 touchdowns in the last 5 games, including a 3-touchdown game against Tracy. 2 of 4 for 20 yards through the air for Ryan Sheen. Matt Fuson takes it on 2nd and short. Push to the side right near the first down marker. Jim Rigby in to make the play. Also look like Barrows over there as well. The safeties for St. Mary's, they're both seniors. Defensively, St. Mary's has 5 seniors, so a little more veteran than their offense. And that is enough for a first down on Matt Fuson's 6th carry for 28 yards. After last week's game when he went for 171 yards and a score against Golden Valley, Ryan Cheen said, he is a man. He makes us go. No question about that. One of the top players in the area is Matt Fuson. Rams are all over that one defensively, waiting for Fuson and dropping him. A slight loss, in fact, it looks like. Loss of maybe a yard, so 2nd and 11. Carry number 7 for Fuson, and you see the white jersey's already pretty muddied. Brum was in there, but there were others making that play for St. Mary's. Fuson slipping again. There's just not a lot of traction on the field. Fagmabila covers him, but Fuson was already down. And so Fuson looks like it's no gain. So 3rd and 11 upcoming. And it's starting to look like we're not going to see a lot of points, and 1 or 2 breaks or mistakes could be the difference in this contest as we approach 1 minute to go in a scoreless first quarter here in round 2 of the CIF Sac Joaquin section Les Schwab Tires football playoffs. 3rd and 11. Cheen's pass is taken in by Graham Christie. It'll be very close to a first down. Christie brought down by Clayton Barrows, and it appears to be enough for a Flame first down. So Christie, the tight end, gets maybe 11 and a half on 3rd and 11. And those are the type of plays you have to convert in a game like this. And if it's a close game, the edge probably goes to Lodi. They are 5-0 in games determined by single digits this year. St. Mary's 2-1, haven't been in as many. Christie scored a touchdown last week, one of the two. Fuson had the other, and he runs here. Good gain on first down. Maffei rack up another tackle for him. And we'll say 5 there for Fuson. 2nd down and 5. Fuson 32 on the ground, and of course he and Doug Martin, his counterpart, I beg your pardon, will do much better just to try and run up the field without making many cuts. That's where you start to lose the footing. Cheen did a little bit there on the handoff. Look at Fuson though. Looks like maybe another first down. Tim Kozina, the special team star from a week ago, was named the Special Teams Player of the Week for St. Mary's in the win against Modesto when he had 6 special teams tackles and recovered a fumble. Does it there on defense, but not before Fuson picks up the first down. And that will do it for quarter number 1 from the Great Bowl in Lodi. 0-0, though Lodi is on the move. First converting that 3rd and 11, and then back-to-back 5-yard runs by Matt Fuson to get another first down. Want to remind you that tonight's game is brought to you commercial-free exclusively by your high-speed internet and digital cable provider, Comcast. Don't forget to check this game out on demand starting on Monday. While we have a second, I want to look at the schedules and the results for each of these two teams, whichever you prefer first, Adam. As we mentioned, Lodi comes in 8-3, St. Mary's at 5-6, and the awfully rough start. In fact, the losses by St. Mary's to teams that are 51-12-1 to this point. You see the first 4, Del Oro and Chowchilla State ranked, then back-to-back wins, a loss to Franklin, and then 3 wins in their last 4 for St. Mary's. They were 3-1, the number 2 team from the TCAL. For Lodi, 8-3. They had a 6-game winning streak at one point during the season, but as I mentioned, the Flames lost 2 of their final 3 in the regular season. And then, of course, Lodi won a week ago on this field on the Matt Council field goal. 17-16, the Council field goal with less than 9 seconds to go. But you see the early loss to Sheldon, 6 in a row, and then down the stretch losing to West and to Franklin. These two schools, in fact, these two teams, have 6 common opponents. They haven't played this year, but they have the same result against 5 of the 6. The only one that's different, Lodi beat Lincoln, St. Mary's lost to Lincoln. Everything else the same as far as the common opposition. 1st and 10 Lodi as we start quarter 2. Fuson hit in the backfield. Does the ball come loose? The Rams are acting as if it did. Was it Fagmabila who recovered it? I'm not sure. But the ball comes loose, and I mentioned maybe one of those mistakes that could be a difference maker. And so St. Mary's has the ball. There's Fusen. It was punched out. Was that Silver? Maybe Beals. I think it was maybe Beals, number 3, that punched it out. And then I honestly can't tell who recovered it, but that's a huge play in this contest, no doubt, as Lodi was on the move. From the 43 for St. Mary's. That pass is taken in by Asiji. Bryant Asiji. Asiji's 14th catch of the year on the hookup with Murdaka. And that is enough for a St. Mary's first down. Ball up to about the 42. A 15-yard reception by Asiji. So many weapons on this St. Mary's team. Asiji, Wilson, Jimarigby, Sorrell, Brum, and in the backfield with Martin. And he is the ball carrier on first down. Doug Martin gets a couple. Sauceda holding on to him. Also, Mark Galvan. A gain of maybe 3, 2nd and 7 upcoming. Not a lot of running room either way. In fact, not much going on offense for either team. Lodi did pick up 3 first downs on their last offensive series before the Fusen fumble. 2nd and long. Murdaka has some time, looking for a CG a little behind him. Matt Council in coverage as that falls incomplete. 3 for 5 through the air for Murdaka, who threw 3 touchdowns last week against Modesto. 2 to Jerome Sorrell, the sophomore, 1 to Ben Jimarigby. Better than 200 yards through the air. Couple touchdowns against Jesuit this year, also Stagg. As you see the end of that play again, a little behind the CG there. And 2 this year also against Tracy for Murdaka, but 3 was a season high. 3rd and long at about the 40. Little play action, the throwback to Martin. The screen is set up. He got a block and picks up good yardage. A helmet comes off, and that's a first down all the way up to the 26. Skylar Jackson in there working on the O-line, and he had a very nice block. A pickup of right around 14. Well designed, that play there by the Rams. And so they have it inside the 30 at the 26 of Lodi. Not yet 2 minutes into the second quarter. Martin in motion. Fake to him. Murdaka rolling right, throwing over the middle. Brum holds it. Joe Brum, well done. He took a shot from De Niro, but Brum able to pick up 16 to the 10. Back-to-back completions by Murdaka. And the Rams are on the move off the turnover. Good find by Murdaka. Brum, the outstanding tight end. Of course, we saw him with 5 grabs and a score against West. He has scored 3 touchdowns this year. 1st and goal for St. Mary's. They're right at the 10. Martin will lose yardage. Brought down from behind. Pinkard was there. Also, Braden Dillon as well, the coach's son. And so Martin loses 2. It's 2nd and goal. Nary an empty seat at the Great Bowl. Once home to the Pacific Tigers football team. Of course, Greg Bishop, a former Tiger, an assistant for Lodi. Matt Council's dad, Jeff Council, former Pacific kicker, and then J.P. Nisby's dad, John Nisby, played football at Pacific and then in the National Football League, as did Greg Bishop. 2nd and goal at the 12. Murdaka keeps his footing for a second, but then goes down, and then Dillon there to cover him, or more likely to hit him had he stayed on his feet. Back to the 15, a loss of 3. And so it's 3rd and goal from the 15. St. Mary's heading in the wrong direction after back-to-back pass plays that went in excess of 10 yards to set it up 1st and goal at the 10, or right inside it. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 15. Almost a third of the way through the second quarter, we are scoreless in round 2 of the section playoffs. Winner goes to the semifinal next Friday night, either in Turlock or in Tracy. Murdaka finds Brum. He's turned back for this moment. And his forward progress is going to be to about the 1. A pickup of 14. A heck of a stop there by Lodi because it looked like Brum was heading into the end zone. It is 4th and goal from the 1. We'll watch quickly here as Murdaka hooks up with his junior counterpart. And it's De Niro who kept Brum out of the end zone. Chad De Niro, good look there, guys. The Rams to go for it. 4th and goal from the 1. Murdaka keeping. And I don't think he got in. There is no signal. He did not. De Niro and others were there. What a stop by the Flames, and the fans react. So what a play, first of all, on 3rd down by Chad De Niro because it looked like Joe Brum was going to get in. And then Murdaka, who has scored 4 touchdowns this year on plays similar to that, was turned back. Then almost tried to do a Matt Leinart and go to the side. But Lodi was having none of it, but they must be careful now with the ball at their own 1. But we are still scoreless, which is the most important thing for Lodi. And here goes Ryan Cheen. Cheen across the 30. Jimmy Rigby catches him at about the 35. A 34-yard gain by Ryan Cheen, the quarterback. That'll get you out of the shadow of your goal line. Heck of a play call there. And it's a safe way. Let your quarterback run with it. You don't have to go with any exchanges. First and 10 at the 35 for Lodi. Plenty of time, still above 7 minutes to play in the half. As Lodi runs with it on 1st down. And it's Kastner. Steven Kastner. No gain. Limited action this year for Kastner. Had a high ankle sprain earlier in the year. Does have 2 scores. That was his 44th carry. Coming into the year, many thought he would almost split time with Fuson. Matt Fuson, a returning honorable mention All-SJAA guy from last year with better than 600 yards and 5 scores, but it's really been all Matt Fuson. Of course, the injury to Kastner slowed him down. 2nd and 10. Kastner maybe giving Fuson a bit of a breather. Remember, he does play defensively as well. Skylar Jackson and Mark Silva bring down Kastner. He gets 5, though. It's 3rd and 5. Ryan Cheen last week got it done with his feet, converting those 2 4th downs, and does so again here tonight, getting Lodi away from the 1 on the keeper. But now they face a 3rd and 5. We're more than midway through the second quarter. Neither team has scored. St. Mary's was just stopped on a 4th and goal from the 1. Quick snap. I don't think it was supposed to be snapped, and then Cheen took it. Maverick Gonzalez brings him down rather abruptly, and Cheen's going to lose a couple, and somebody was wrong there, either the cadence or the snap. And, of course, we're in the 12th week of the season, so an opportunity may be missed there for the Flames. Fans don't like that one so much. And a punting situation here, 4th and roughly 7. Those guys probably a bit chilly. And so it's Council to punt for Lodi. Is he going to run with it? No. He'll pull up and boom it away. Pretty good kick on the move. Sorrell will not be there to return it. And that ball is going to come to a rest at about the 12. And Matt Fusen was down there to down it. Maybe at the 13, but Council, I think it's a situation there where he starts to run. If it looks like he has a chance and he needed a ways to go, then he can go for it. But if not, pull up and kick it. He did and got a very good one off. You see, Council ends up being about a 47-yard kick. Of course, a little bit of a bounce on it, but he'll take it nonetheless. St. Mary's with the ball at about their own 13. Try to move it on the ground with Doug Martin. Nisby and others trying to open holes for him, but not much there. Galvan, the tackler, 2 yards there for Martin, who hasn't found many holes, and he's been on a tear, as we said. 240 against Modesto, 227 against Edison in week 9, against West in week 10, 124, 116 against Tokay, also 207 this year against Tracy, and better than 200 yards against Lincoln at 219. Second down and 8 at the 15. Wilson in the backfield for St. Mary's. He'll take the swing pass. Chris Wilson dives forward and looks like he has enough for a first down. In fact, Wilson dives across the 25, pickup of 10, and that is, in fact, a first down, as the R pointed out. A gain of 10 there by Wilson, one of the 2 sophomores who's played all year on offense for St. Mary's, along with Jerome Sorrell. Maffey, the guy on defense who's played all year, where both Sorrell and Wilson start as sophomores. How good are the Rams going to be next year? Well, 34 of their 42 touchdowns return. First and 10, Murdaka all day, and Jimmer Rigby has it. A host of defenders trying to bring him down, Robert Zell and others. A pickup of 21, though, and a late flag comes in. Let's wait and see on this one. It's going to be unsportsmanlike against somebody. There's no question about that. But whom, we shall see. It's going to be a killer either way. They always are. It's against St. Mary's. And that really hurts, wiping out much of a 21-yard pickup. Didn't quite see what happened. Of course, sometimes things like that occur when a player is kind of stood up and there's a lot of people in there. And the officials, though, got to stay on top of that, and they did. Murdaka, 8 of 10 for 95 here, looking strong early on. He's had all day because of his offensive line. So the ball moved back to the 30. Sorrell goes up to get it a bit. Mettler, though, tackles him right at the stick. And we'll see, it appears to be just shy, 9.5 yards, so it's second and inches, quite honestly. And Murdaka continues to be effective and right on target. He'll come into the huddle right about now. 9 of 11. Of course, St. Mary's quarterback a year ago, Willie Tuitama, on TV today, playing against Arizona State as a true freshman. Threw for 2,734 yards last year, 32 scores, and 7 picks. Second and inches. Martin, first down, broke the first tackle, that of Dinero. Then he's hurried out of bounds by Pinkard and Zell. About 5 yards there for Martin on one of his better runs. That tells you how well Lodi has done against him. Clock at 2:20 as we'll watch Martin convert that second and inches. There's Dinero, who's made some big tackles and couldn't wrap up Martin, who's a tough one to bring down at 5'10", 177. You see Council there, also mentioned Zell as well. First and 10, St. Mary's, near the 45, their own. Somebody lost the towel. Murdaka to a streaking James Patterson, and he can't hold it. Patterson would have been inside the 25. He could not hold it. Gillingham was in the vicinity, but would have been a huge pickup for St. Mary's. We saw Patterson make a grab earlier, and in fact, we saw him make a catch like that, very similar to that, in fact, against Tokay late in the first half. And just started to run maybe before he completely had it, or look upfield. He was obviously on the move. 2nd down and 10. Clock stopped at 1:56 here in quarter 2. We are scoreless from the Great Bowl. A low-scoring game that you would think favors Lodi, but who knows? We're in the second round of the playoffs. I think you can throw just about everything out. Doug Martin breaks the tackle of Fusen, then Fusen had a hold of his jersey to kind of slow him up. And so Martin will get about 6. There is a flag down, though, hence the reason the clock is stopped. It's a sideline warning against St. Mary's, says Dennis Fulaski. The clock moving, Rams have to be aware of that, and it's just a warning, even though there's a flag down. So we're nearing now 1:30 to go in the half. 3rd down and 5, maybe a short 5 here, just across midfield for St. Mary's. Murdaka trying to run for it, has it. And then he'll run through the tackle instead of sliding down. He loses his headwear, but it is enough for a 1st down and will momentarily stop the clock up to the 37. A 12-yard run by the nimble Pete Murdaka. As a junior, obviously has gotten a lot better, and you could tell all the way he wasn't going to slide there. He's 210 pounds. He should not. In fact, he outweighed Council, who brought him down by 45 pounds. That's not supposed to happen, quarterback to a DB. Murdaka, though, trying to lead his Rams here in round 2 of the playoffs. A lot of people, of course, after their 0-4 start, thought no way they'd be in this situation. 1st and 10. Murdaka, a little long, was looking there for Brum. Gillingham over that way, and also Dibble. Joe Brum had broken free momentarily. That goes incomplete, so now Murdaka 9 for 13. A lot of passes here in the first half, and give St. Mary's credit, still sticking with their game plan despite the field conditions. And again, sometimes it can be an advantage to the offense. The receiver knows where he's going. The DB doesn't. Chance of defense now on the Lodi sideline and in the crowd. 2nd down and 10 at the 37 of Lodi. Here comes St. Mary's. Pete Murdaka, this time he won't run for much. Braden Dillon and also Mark Galvan. Just a yard for Murdaka, and a timeout to St. Mary's, leaving the Rams with 1 here in the final 43 seconds of quarter number 2. 2 old SJAA rivals, of course, now St. Mary's in the T-Cal. Lodi looking for their first win against the Rams since the early 90s. And this is the second playoff appearance for Lodi since 1993. What a year it has been for Todd Dillon and his crew. I was talking about the University of Pacific connections. Todd Dillon, of course, a quarterback at Tokay. Then went on to play at Long Beach State and in the USFL and the CFL. Well, he held out in 93 for 5 weeks and became a quasi-assistant coach at the University of the Pacific. Tony Franks, the head man for St. Mary's, back in 84, was an assistant at Pacific. Then heard about Frank Carrito and actually saw Frank Carrito in the locker room, who at the time was the St. Mary's head coach. Frank told Tony Franks that he had resigned. Tony Franks went and applied at St. Mary's, was the head coach there 84, 85, and 86, starting as a 26-year-old, as you see Coach Franks right there. Then he went on to be a collegiate assistant at Santa Clara and Davis. Back at his alma mater, though, 4 years here in his second stint, 7 overall. 3rd and long for the Rams at about the 36. Nearly picked off by Dibble. Good break on that ball. Brian DeCigi, the intended receiver, Well done there, though, by Justin Dibble, the only starting junior on defense, though we've seen Braden Dillon quite a bit here defensively as well. He, too, a junior. It's a Lodi team that starts 19 seniors in total. And you see Dibble, the Rams are pretty lucky that wasn't picked. So 3 straight incompletions by Murdaka after he was 9 of 11. And so it's 4th and 8, maybe 9 in no man's land with 37 seconds to go in the half. The Rams going to go for it. A last word between Patterson and Murdaka. It's 4th and a long 8. Awaiting St. Mary's. Murdaka steps up, and that ball is held. Well done there, Ben Jimmer Rigby up to the 20 before he's tackled by Metler. And so after 3 straight incompletions, a hookup of about 16 between Murdaka and Jimmer Rigby. St. Mary's takes the timeout. And that's it for St. Mary's. So, of course, the first down stopped the clock. I thought maybe they would have held that one off for the waning seconds, as the clock does stop with the first down. But here probably St. Mary's looking to go to the end zone or the sideline. And they can pick up a first down right around the 10. The crushing blow for the Rams would be if Murdaka were to be sacked. They'd have to scramble to get back to the line of scrimmage and spike it. Mentioned how it's been such a year of first for Lodi, the resurgence here under Todd Dillon, their 8th-year head coach. You look just a few short years ago, Lodi had a 10-game losing streak from week 6 of the 2002 season on into the 03 season. Then, of course, they had that win against Edison when Edison was unbeaten, their only win, in fact, in 03. But the streak was 16 out of 17 losses from 02 to 04 for this Lodi squad. But here we are in 05. They are 8-3, playing for a right to go to their second ever section semifinal. A shade below 30 seconds to go in the first half in a scoreless game. 1st and 10 for St. Mary's at the 20. Murdaka, he's got to get rid of it. He's sacked. Back at the 32, Galvan and Fuson. Rams got to hustle and spike it. That's the last thing St. Mary's could have. They're down to 14-12. Murdaka spikes it with 10.7. So 19 seconds went off the clock, and they actually did a pretty good job to get back and spike it that quickly, but that's the problem you have when you're out of timeouts. And the ball's all the way back at the 30, maybe the 31. .31 yards away from a score here, just below 11 seconds to go in the half. Murdaka looking to the end zone. Touchdown! That's Jimmer Rigby. Ben Jimmer Rigby brought it in at about the 2, and then he goes the rest of the way. Touchdown, St. Mary's with 4 seconds to go in the half. That is a gigantic play. Well, give St. Mary's a lot of credit to come back and spike the ball after Murdaka was sacked. And then give themselves 11 seconds. And had that ball been incomplete, they would have had one more play. Had Murdaka been tackled in the field of play, they would have had to hustle. Would have been a first down. Clock would have stopped. But I don't know if they would have got another play off. Murdaka has made 24 straight. He's on for the point after. Brum snaps, McCaffrey holds. It is good. A huge play. As Pete Murdaka finds Ben Jimmer Rigby. He had a touchdown last week of 70 yards. This one, 31 yards. 8th touchdown of the year for Jimmer Rigby. Outside of Alex LeBeff, an injured quarterback who scored 1 touchdown this year, Jimmer Rigby, the only senior who has scored touchdowns this year for St. Mary's. That was his 8th. He had 4 this year against Tracy. But in a game where points are going to be at a premium, an absolutely huge play there by the Rams to pick that one up. Here it is again, coming right at you. Murdaka finds Jimmer Rigby at about the 3, makes a little cut, and he is in. 11 for 16 in this first half for Pete Murdaka. 157 yards. Squibber, taken by Christie, I believe. No, it wasn't Christie, I beg your pardon. It was actually taken by Herman Gaitan, and that's the way the half ends. 7-0 St. Mary's, scoring in the waning seconds. The Rams on the 31-yard pass play from Pete Murdaka to Ben Jimmer Rigby. After Murdaka had been sacked, the team out of timeouts, they spiked it and then hooked up Murdaka to Jimmer Rigby with just 4 seconds to go. The point after by Murdaka good as well. And, well, the Rams certainly have been able to throw the ball here in the first half. And remember, Lodi turned away St. Mary's on a 4th and goal from the 1. Who knows, had the Rams gotten in there, Lodi would be in a bit of trouble. But they're just down 7. And remember, St. Mary's deferred after winning the opening coin toss. The Rams will have the ball as well to start half number 2. The winner plays for the right to go to the section championship next week in the semifinal against either Pittman or West. The loser, their season is done. We're done for the first half. A quick break, and then some of the halftime festivities here at the Great Bowl in round 2 of the CIF Sac Joaquin section Les Schwab Tires football playoffs. St. Mary's 7, Lodi nothing.
Don't miss out on all the high school football action this season. Join Comcast SJTV Channel 26 every weekend starting Friday night at 10:30 and concluding Monday night with the 9 p.m. airing for the game of the week. We'll bring each and every school in the area to you all season long on the Comcast SJTV Sports Game of the Week, kicking off Fridays at 10:30 on Channel 26. Hop on and join the ride to the section championship game with Comcast SJTV Channel 26.
We're at halftime here in round 2 of the CIF Sac Joaquin section Les Schwab Tires football playoffs. St. Mary's and Lodi, their first matchup of the year. St. Mary's on top 7-0, scoring that touchdown with 4 seconds to go on the pass from Pete Murdaka to Benjamin Rigby right before the half. Here are the Lodi Flame cheerleaders at the break. So those were the Lodi Flame cheerleaders on tape at the half, as we're about ready for the captain's meeting here just prior to the start of half number 2. As you see the entire Lodi team heading out. Let's go ahead and look at the first half statistics. St. Mary's scoring just before the end of the half on the 31-yard strike from Pete Murdoch to Ben Jimmer-Rigby. And Murdoch got the point after, 7-0 our score. Murdoch, quite a first half through the air as he went 11 of 17, 158 yards, and of course that touchdown. Only 19 yards on the ground as Lodi did a pretty good job against Doug Martin. 8 carries for 20 yards. Total offense, though, 177. St. Mary's did not turn it over and had a couple of penalties, able to overcome a personal foul. For Lodi, 31 yards through the air as Ryan Sheen was 3 of 5. 79 rushing yards, though much of that came on the 34-yard run by Sheen. Matt Fusen was 10 carries, 37 yards in the first half. He did fumble once. St. Mary's, though, did not get any points out of it as they were turned away on 4th and goal at the 1. And so the turnover not hurting Lodi there, but now they're going to have to go out on defense as they're down 7-0. St. Mary's to have it first. Pittman and West are tied. The winner of that game hosts the winner of this game in the section semifinal next week, Division I. St. Mary's looking to get to their 3rd straight semifinal, something only a few schools have done. Merced did it, 88 through 90. Atwater, 96 to 98. Nevada Union, 92 to 94. Lincoln, 2000, 2002. And the only school to do it more than 3 times in a row, Cordova, 76 to 80. And the Lodi Flames, after they break the huddle with their head coach, Todd Dillon, and assistant coach, Greg Bishop, they're trying to get to the section semifinal for the 2nd time in their school's history. The only other was in the first year of the current format of the D1 playoffs, 1976. Lodi lost in the final to Stag, 20-0. And of course, it's been 2 straight years since 2 Stockton teams have met in the semifinal, Edison and St. Mary's in 03. Last year, Franklin and St. Mary's. It won't be 2 Stockton teams this year, but it could be 2 Stockton area teams in West and either one of these 2 teams, if that ends up being the case. Council gets us underway here to start half number 2. From the 12, it's Chris Wilson. Wilson, he may be gone. 30, 20, 10. Council trying to chase him. He cannot catch him. And it is Chris Wilson taking it 88 yards on the opening kickoff of the second half. And St. Mary's is up 2 scores. And so that comes 14 seconds in to half number 2. St. Mary's scored with 4 seconds to go in half number 1. So 2 touchdowns in a span of 18 seconds with a 15-minute halftime in between. Murdaca has made his last 25 point afters. He's out there to try and make it 26. Brum snapping, McCaffrey holding. And what a huge deflator for Lodi, giving up the kick return, and it is good. 14-0 St. Mary's on the return by Chris Wilson. Virtually untouched. Let's see if he truly was untouched. Taking it from the 12, maybe a hand on his leg, and once he got here, Brum running interference. Matt Council showing great speed to almost track Wilson down, but he just ran out of real estate. And Chris Wilson goes 88 yards. He did have a kick return for a touchdown this year against Franklin as well. We saw him return one a long ways against Tokay, though he fumbled at the end of it, but he has speed. Council does too. Nice job, though, by Joe Brum just to get in the way at the least. So it's 14-0 St. Mary's. Scoring the last 2 times they've touched the ball. The pass to Jimmer Rigby at the end of the first. And here the kick return by Wilson to start the second. He's just a sophomore, his 6th touchdown of the year. 2nd on a kick return, 1 on a pick, 1 on a rush, and 2 receiving. You see the end of the run. Here is Nick Capravisa kicking off to Lodi. At the 12, Matt Fusen, he's returned a kick for a score this year, but is brought down and 2 flags come in. Angelo Talamontes brings down Fusen. Let's wait and see on the flag. We only had 3 combined in the first half. Here's Dennis Velasquez. That's a personal foul going against St. Mary's. And so St. Mary's getting the costly penalties, their third personal foul. That's been all 3 of their penalties. Let's see if we can pick it up. I think it was a face mask. Maybe not. Was it a late hit? Yeah, it was a late hit right there, clearly. Just probably an over-anxious Ram there, a sophomore, in fact. But the 15 yards certainly aid the cause of Lodi. They have it at the 39. They need some points, though, as we are early in the second half. Ryan Sheen drops it off. Matt Fusen. Fusen driving forward is going to be a couple yards shy of a first down. Ben Jimmerigby, who missed the first 3.5 games of the year with a knee injury. You see he still has that brace on that left knee. Jimmerigby is the tackler. Fusen, though, got 8 on the reception. Sheen now 4 of 6 through the air. 39 yards. The first catch for Matt Fusen, though, he's certainly capable coming out of the backfield. Second down and short. Fusen is brought down. Skylar Jackson looks like he'll keep Fusen short of the first down, just a yard there. So it's 3rd and a yard upcoming. 11 carries for just 38 yards for Fusen, but certainly is capable of busting one. How about Skylar Jackson, one of the few returnees for the St. Mary's team? Had a head injury earlier in this year, but is back in there. Also has played some O-line. 3rd and 1 at the 48 for Lodi. They trail 14-0. Sheen diving forward, and Ryan Sheen picks it up. He got about 2. And so Sheen 34 yards on the ground. He has 3 rushing touchdowns. We mentioned 4 from Murdaka. Each quarterback good size. Sheen 6'2", 210. Murdaka 6'1", 210. Sheen, of course, a shoulder injury earlier this year against Edison. Did not play against Bear Creek or Lincoln. Actually played a series against Lincoln, I should say. But Kevin Laughlin, the junior, stepping in and leading Lodi to victories in both of those games. 1st and 10, not yet 2 minutes into the second half. Matt Fusen has some room on the left side. Another first down for Lodi as they will move the chains. Jimmerigby across the field. He's saying, hey, I need some help here. Making tackles on back-to-back plays. And it looks like about 12 there for Fusen on his best run. And let's see if that gets him going a bit. No doubt he's trying, just haven't been many lanes. And it's a Lodi team that likes to run off tackle. Tony Franks was concerned with that. That's why he said his ends are so important, and Joe Brum and Junior Fagmabila. At about the 38, Fusen trying to follow his blockers, breaks free. Here goes Matt Fusen inside the 10. Jimmerigby a 3rd straight tackle. Matt Fusen, quite a run there. Looked like he was bottled up near the line of scrimmage, but instead he takes it inside the 10 to the 7. That's a 31-yard pickup by Fusen, and so he gets the big one right there, popping back-to-back good runs, 12 and then 31, and all of a sudden he's up to 81 yards just like that. Of course, he had the 47 carry game earlier this year against Edison. He's got 13 right here. Thought for all the world he was going down and used his strength to take it inside the 10. 1st and goal. Sales, the fullback. And did the ball come loose? That's what St. Mary's is saying. No response from the officials. They're trying to see who's at the bottom of the pile. Sales, the fullback. And Brum is saying it's St. Mary's, and so is Dennis Fulaski. That's all that matters. Let's see who's at the bottom of the pile. Is that 79? That's J.P. Nisby, the junior, who was All-State a year ago, according to Cal High Sports. And Sales fumbles at the 5. The second fumble by Lodi, and that's a killer as they were set to go in. But Nisby, who's battled a shoulder injury during the second half of the season, comes away with the recovery. And with 9:19 to go in the 3rd, St. Mary's has it inside their own 5, maybe about the 3. Doug Martin a couple of yards. Sauceda, Dillon as the teams unpile. And so it'll be a gain of 3 for Doug Martin, 2nd and 7. Martin has been bottled up for the most part, 9 carries, 23 yards. But St. Mary's has been able to get it done through the air. Remember, think about how many people they lost off of last year's squad. Tui Tama, Tad Smith, Anthony Crosby, John Estes, Brad Peterson, Max Capello. And here St. Mary's is potentially on the verge of playing in a semifinal for the 3rd straight year. Into the secondary, Doug Martin, but there is a flag down. Let's wait and see. De Niro and Council in the secondary having to make the tackle, which of course is never a good thing. Here's Dennis Fulaski. Looks like a hold against St. Mary's. That one hurts because Martin had picked up the first down and more. But it goes for naught. Remember, St. Mary's 4-6 during the regular season, a sub-500 team. Of course, that's apt to happen when you have 5-team leagues where you play just 4 league games. St. Mary's went 3-1. In fact, had a battle with West, a game we brought you in Week 10 for the T-Cal title. In recent history, in 03 in the D1 playoffs, Franklin was 5-5 when they won the coin flip and were the 4 seed from the SJAA. And then in 02, Atwater was 5-5. You'd have to go, though, below D1 to see teams sub-500. The worst record back in 02, D5 De Niro was 3-7. 2nd and 9. That might be a live ball. No, the official is saying it's incomplete. Brum, the intended receiver, went through his hands, and that was awfully close to being a lateral. I don't think it was, but it was awfully close. Somebody for Lodi pounced on it. Might have been Fuson on the far side or De Niro. And had it been live, of course, you take it in for a score and say thank you very much. So after the penalty, it's 3rd and 9. If Lodi can get a stop here, as we watch the pass to Brum again. And yeah, it would look like it was forward, not by much. Official's right on it, though. But if Lodi can get a stop, they should get the ball back in outstanding field position. Murdaka from the end zone. Looking to a CG. And a CG is out around the 13, close to a first down, but it is not enough. A gain of about 8, leaving St. Mary's a yard short. And so Lodi does stop defensively, not by much, but they do stop defensively. Remember that holding, a killer there for St. Mary's. They were already up to the 20. Officials blow this one dead. Let's see why, I'm not sure. They're actually going to move both teams back in the huddle, and actually they're going to measure, it looks like. Maybe that was a request that came in from the sideline by St. Mary's. I think that was the case. And so they're going to measure. Tony Franks is saying, hey, why not? I have nowhere else to be. Now it's about a full yard short. And I don't know that for sure, of course, but I think that was the case, especially because it came in so late. We're at exactly 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. From the Great Bowl in Lodi, one that needs some repairs. Everybody knows that. They're trying to find the money for it, but what a venue. So many different events have been held here, much of them high school football. Quite a place, one that is packed right now. So does Capravisa to punt. There is a flag. He gets it away. Fuson, fair catch signaled right at the 40. We'll have to wait and see on the flag. Going against St. Mary's, and if you're Lodi, do you want them to kick it again? I would think. I mean, the 40's not bad, but you're saying, hey, let's give Fuson a chance to return it. And that's what Dennis Fulaski is looking to the sideline for. And so it appears as if we're going to do this one again. 5th flag against St. Mary's, only 1 against Lodi. Lodi a year ago just 3-7, but primarily playing juniors. 2 years ago, the senior class for Lodi, sophomore champions. Todd Dillon's talked about this team's commitment, their willingness to listen, and of course they've been relatively injury-free this year. That sure plays a big part in your success as well. Capraviza, not much pressure as he kicks this one away. Fusen at the 38, and he's brought down immediately. Well done by James Patterson on special teams. So Lodi only gained 2, maybe 3 yards and forcing St. Mary's to punt again, but I think you got to do it. And so the ball's around the 38 as you look to the far side, and the Rams of St. Mary's, again, a team with more sophomores suited up tonight than seniors. Watch the punt again. Capraviza didn't have much pressure on him there. But Lodi with good field position, though they're down 14-0. On first down, Ryan Sheen finds his tight end, Graham Christie. Fagmabila and also Mafi bring him to a halt in a hurry. About 2 yards there, it looks like, to Christie on his second catch for 11 yards. He's one of 6 returnees, is Graham Christie, for Lodi on offense. Also 6 returning on defense, so it should be no surprise to anyone that the Flames have had such a solid season. Another short drop-off, this time to Fusen. Slips after a short gain. Mafi there again. This gain goes for 2, maybe 3. And it looks like it's going to be third. It's 5. 3rd and 5 upcoming. Fusen now 6 of 8 for 44 yards. 3rd down and 5 with the ball at about the 33 for Lodi of St. Mary's. Pump by Sheen. Over the middle. Christie can't hold it. Jimmer Rigby in the vicinity. It falls incomplete. And so what do you do here if you're Lodi? The field goal would be 50. Now, maybe on field turf you let Council try, but certainly not on a muddy field. Of course, Matt Council has made 10 field goals this year, 3 game winners over the last 2. But on third, after the incompletion there, it's 4th and 5. And so the Flames to go for it. Big play for them, down 14-0. And is there a flag? Yes, 2 come in. Christie, the intended receiver, he got tangled up with Sorrell, but I think you have to throw it. It wasn't intentional by any stretch by Sorrell, but he got tangled up there with Christie, and so a pass interference coming, I would think, as Christie's becoming the big play man, or at least the go-to man for Sheen, a security blanket, if you will. And so that is a Lodi first down there on 4th and 5. They get the PI, even better than a completion, I guess. Watch it again. There's Christie, and actually, I beg your pardon, it wasn't Sorrell that he got tangled up with. Not sure whom that was, but it was not Sorrell. Ball at the 18. Here goes Matt Fusen to about the 12. Six for Fusen on carry number 14, up to 87 yards. Mafi in on another tackle. The sophomore coming back from the knee injury. Tony Franks has said at times he has been the team's best defender. Was called up to the varsity last year in the playoffs as a freshman. A lot of guys from the Rams got experience last year. Here goes Fusen on 2nd down as he is headed off at the pass. Ben Jimmer Rigby has been outstanding tonight, leaving it all on the field in what potentially could be his final high school football game. That is, though, enough for a first down, as Fusen got just enough, and it is 1st and goal with the ball at the 7. Lodi down 14-0. They have to get a touchdown here. 5.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Here's Mr. Reliable, Matt Fusen. Mark Silva there, also Clayton Barrows, a couple of the seniors for St. Mary's. Of course, Mark's brother Matt, a former QB. Understand he is at the game tonight. Of course, played at Army. QB back in 2000. As Tony Franks looks on. In 6 of his 7 years as the head man at St. Mary's, his Rams have gone to the playoffs. Look at the intensity. there from Coach Franks. It's 2nd and goal. Cheen looking to the end zone. Too tall for Adam Badisilich, the 6'3", 215 senior. Badisilich looked like he had a step, but it goes incomplete. And so it'll be 3rd and goal. And obviously 4-down territory here with the Flames trailing 14-0 if they do not pick it up on 3rd down. Eric Alves with you on the Comcast SJTV Sports Game of the Week. Round 2 of the high school football playoffs, Division I. The winner advances to the semifinal next Friday night. Cheen over the middle, and he has a man for the score. It's Gillingham. And the touchdown from about 6 yards out. So Lodi back within a score on a touchdown they had to have. Council on for the point after. Fuson to hold. Bobby Shepard is the snapper. Council 28 of 38 on point afters this year. Kick is good. 14-7, 4:37 to go. Ryan Cheen throwing the touchdown for the Flames. His 8th scoring toss of the year. As he hooks up with Jeff Gillingham. Gillingham his 5th receiving touchdown. Actually his 6th receiving touchdown, 7th overall for Gillingham. Had 3 against Tracy. The 4-yarder, of course, that tied the game against Lincoln and helped the force overtime. Also had 1 against Franklin. But this is a Lodi team, as again, 5-0 in single-digit games this year. They were down last week 16-7 against Golden Valley. Of course, here tonight at one point down 14-0. And the Lincoln game they won in overtime, down 20-13. Are they a team of destiny? Well, we have about 16.5 minutes to find out if they are, in fact. 7-point game, 14-7. St. Mary's leading, about to receive it. Here's Chris Wilson right at the 10. He returned the last one, 88 yards. This one goes 5 yards. He slipped a bit, but also good coverage from Cameron Sales.
Brought down by Graham Christian on the 42 of the Flames. Christians and Rams at their own 15-yard line.
Ball's at the 15, and give the Lodi defense some credit as well, because they forced the punt quickly from St. Mary's after the fumble by Sales. Inside the 5, got the ball back, and from the 38-yard line, Lodi took it in. 8 plays later, 3 minutes of time to get their first points of the night. Little option by Murdaka, tosses at the last moment, well done there. Doug Martin, a big gainer for the Rams. Beautifully executed by Pete Murdaka, held on to it until the last possible instance, and then gets it out there to Martin to let him do his thing. A 17-yard gain by Doug Martin, his best of the night, as St. Mary's going to try to go to work with their junior tailback potentially here, but they have thrown for better than 160 yards tonight. Remember, St. Mary's has scored 28 or more in all their wins, 21 or less in all their losses. Martin again after he went in motion. Dibble. Or is that Pinkard? It's actually Pinkard. Richard Pinkard, the 5'10", 185 senior who started quite a bit last year. And Martin just got a yard on carry number 11. Lodi giving up 211 points coming in. So right around 20 per game, actually about 19. St. Mary's scores 27 per game. They've been outscored, though, for the year. Murdaka, good decision not to toss it as he was hit and dropped. It's Justin Metler. Good look at him right there, the senior, the team's leading tackler, a returning starter from a year ago, part of the veteran core for Lodi. 24 seniors on the roster, 19 senior starters. Murdaka lost a yard. It's 3rd and 10. 3rd down and 10, less than 3 minutes to go. If Lodi can get the stop here, they should get the ball back with pretty good field position again. Pete Murdaka finds an open man. It's Benjamin Rigby, takes it on the Lodi side of the field down to the 39. About a 23-yard hookup, and Jimmer Rigby has been huge tonight. And for Benjamin Rigby, that is his 4th catch. 91 yards and has a score. Got it there on 3rd and 10. The 6'1", 185 seniors, so some of the seniors coming up big for St. Mary's. They have only a few, but they have come through here tonight. Martin with blockers in front, breaking tackles. Does pretty well. They end up getting about 5. Pinkard, also Raymond Sauceda, bringing down Doug Martin. Actually, he's going to get more than 5, it looks like. I'll say 6, 2nd and 4. And so what a turn of events there after St. Mary's had it 3rd and 10. If Lodi gets the stop, they're in great shape. But the completion for 23 yards to Jimmer Rigby changes everything. Chance of defense from the Lodi cheerleaders, and they're right. They need their defense to come up big right here. Down by 7, St. Mary's on the move at the 34 of Lodi. Chris Wilson in the backfield. He'll take the swing pass. Might have even been a lateral. Wilson met right near the first down marker. Appears to be just short. We'll call that a run, though. It was right in between. And Wilson, a utility guy, able to do it as a receiver or a runner. Came in with 28 carries and 18 receptions. Of course, we saw the kick return, which is the difference in this game right now, a game that has less than 1 minute to go in the 3rd quarter. The winner of this game plays the winner of Pittman and West, which was tied at the half, and the SJA and the TCAL have been so dominant, 10-2 against the CCC and the MMC over the last 3 years. We'll see what happens with West and Pittman. 3rd and a yard. Martin fighting for yardage. And it looks like he has it stopped by Denaro and Dillon. Martin gets at least 3, maybe 4 on that crucial 3rd down conversion. And I'm willing to guess that St. Mary's would have gone for it on 4th down had they not picked it up. Clock stopped as the chains are reset. Now it moves as Pete Murdaka gets a play from Doug Koresko, the offensive coordinator for the Rams. Remember, they scored over 500 points a year ago, 70 touchdowns. Offense has been pretty good this year. Heck, they scored 27 a game. They set a pretty high standard a year ago. Final seconds of the 3rd on 1st and 10 for St. Mary's. Little toss to Doug Martin, cuts, and then takes a pretty good hit at the end of that play as he gets to the 25. Metler delivers the blow. 2, maybe 3 yards from Martin to end the 3rd, and we go to the deciding quarter here in round 2 of the CIF Sac Joaquin section Les Schwab Tires football playoffs. St. Mary's 14, Lodi 7. After Martin got a couple, it'll be 2nd and about 7, awaiting the St. Mary's Rams. And what has been a tight, hard-fought ball game. No surprise here with the weather you get late into November and, of course, eventually into December. Hard to do too much offensively. You have 2 pretty good teams here. St. Mary's certainly with their record below 500. You say, well, how can you say that? You look at their level of competition. They played about as difficult a schedule as you can play. And then, of course, a lot of young guys and some injuries that are now healthy and more veteran sophomore and junior players. So does Lodi get to the section semifinal for the first time since 1976, when, of course, none of their players were born? Heck, I wasn't even born. Probably some of their assistants weren't even alive back then. Or can St. Mary's get there for a third straight time, matching what Lincoln did from 2000 to 2002? 2nd and 7 as we start play here in the 4th. St. Mary's 14, Lodi 7. First meeting between these two teams. Each has lost to West this year, a potential opponent next week. Of course, neither has played Pittman out of the CCC, who defeated Lincoln a week ago. Dennis Velasky blowing this one dead, an official's timeout before we start the 4th. Not sure why. Just want to make sure he had everything straight. And so here we go again to start the 4th. St. Mary's with the ball inside the 25 of Lodi. A touchdown here would be huge to go back up by 2 scores. Option play, Murdaka. That was dangerous, but he does get the ball to Doug Martin. Martin brought down by George Duenas, the 3-year starter. That might have been a pass, too. It went forward a bit. Martin able to gain a yard or so. That was dangerous. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. And so we'll call it 3rd and 5, maybe a long 5 upcoming. For St. Mary's, 14 of 21 is Murdaka. He looks to throw here on 3rd down. Waiting for a receiver to come free. He had one, but unable to hold it was Jerome Sorrell. In coverage was Mettler, the linebacker there on the receiver. And so Lodi dodges a bullet. And what does St. Mary's do here? Do they go for it on 4th and 5? They may think about it. It's probably too far for a field goal. You're looking at 40, 41 yards. It's definitely too far for a field goal. And I think the Rams are, in fact, going to go for it. 14 of 22 now for Murdaka. 191 and 1 score as he will bring the play into the huddle. Very important play here. Not yet 1 minute into the 4th quarter. 14-7 St. Mary's. They have it 4th and a long 5 around the 23. 2 receivers to each side. Murdaka throws, it's taken in, and that is a St. Mary's first down. Was it Jim Rigby again, or whom was it? And it was Ben Jim Rigby, and look at him, he is exhausted. Still has that brace on the knee. Jim Rigby playing a whale of a ball game. A guy who started last year for the Rams but didn't finish the season with them, and has a chance here maybe to get back to the section championship game. For him, the first time, that was a pretty good catch, a little behind him. And Jim Rigby is walking over to the sideline. He's going to at least have to sit this one out, as that was about a 10-yard hookup. Catch number 5 for 101. Of course, playing that H-back position that Anthony Crosby played so well a year ago when he had 1,000 yards and 16 scores. Well, Jim Rigby playing it perfectly here tonight. 15 of 23, 201 yards now from Murdaka. 1st and 10 St. Mary's, up by 7, around the 12. Doug Martin sidestepped 1 tackle. Then a host of Lodi defenders bring him down at the 8. Sauceda in there. And others for Lodi. A gain of 4 for Doug Martin. 2nd and 6 upcoming. 15 carries for Martin. .58 yards. 2nd down and 6. Patterson can't hold it. Would have been close to a first down. St. Mary's can pick up a first down right around the 2. right around the 2, might even be inside the 2, but they can pick up a first down without scoring. With 9:59 left in the game, St. Mary's looking to extend to a 2-score lead. Lodi looking for the stop. As their defense has been on the field, it seems like quite a bit here in the second half. As this will be the 14th play of the drive for St. Mary's. They possessed it for 6.5 minutes, and it ends in a touchdown by guess who? Ben Rigby. Ben Rigby, goodness, 2 touchdowns for him. That one about 8 yards out. And St. Mary's is back up by 2 scores. 6th catch, 109 yards. And 2 touchdowns. Took a play off after being a bit shaken up, and then Jim Rigby comes through. He's getting free in the secondary. Here's Murdaka. McCaffrey put it down. Brum snapped it. It is good. Murdaka now has made 27 point afters in a row. 9:54 to go in the contest and somebody's season. 21-7 St. Mary's, and Jim Rigby didn't have a defender within 5 yards of him. The 6'1", 185 senior who was injured in a scrimmage before the start of the season. His left knee did not play through the first 3.5 games. Came in for the first time against Lincoln, had a touchdown there, and he has 2 here tonight, giving him 9 for the season. Second on the team to Doug Martin. And of the skill position guys, he's really the only senior that touches the ball. Nick Capraviza to kick off for St. Mary's. Looking to even their mark at 6-6, but more importantly, get to the section semifinal where they would have to go on the road for a 3rd straight week and win either at Pittman or at West. The kick is taken from about the 7 by Lodi, and Jeff Gillingham went over a couple of oncoming special teamers. Pretty decent return to about the 31. And so Lodi is going to have to go to work. Of course, they've been in similar situations. They were down last week by 9 late in the contest, but they're down 14 here. And they're probably going to have to start thinking of going to the air a little bit more. They've been pretty successful through the air. As far as completion, 6 of 9, but not a whole lot of yardage. Here they go on first down. Matt Council has the reception. Council able to turn it up the field. Does he stay in bounds? No, the officials say he was out right at midfield. Still a good gain, though, of about 19. So immediately, Lodi goes to work through the air, and Council comes through. His 11th grab of the season. And now actually 7 of 11 is Ryan Cheen. That one goes for 19 yards. So he has 63 on the night. Looking up top to Matt Council and Ben Rigby in coverage. Rigby continues to do it all. He clearly has been the player of the game for St. Mary's. And I think you could make the claim the player of the game in the contest. So Council, the deep threat. Certainly Gillingham is capable of as well. He has the touchdown for Lodi. There is Jim Rigby. You see all the mud all over his jersey. That's because he's been around the ball or receiving the ball. Fake toss by Cheen. Hands off to Matt Fusen. Fusen bouncing off of tacklers and has enough for a first down there as Fusen gets 12. 17 carries for him for 103. And certainly Lodi doesn't have to exclusively go to the pass. They can still mix it in because we have better than 9 minutes to go. And they've done nicely on this drive so far. So Fusen above 100. The St. Mary's run defense, I think, has been pretty good tonight, but they have struggled much of the year. Gave up 214 to Solomon Martin, a combined 190 last week to James Williams and Lloyd Ferris and Modesto. 1st and 10 for Cheen. Can't find anybody open. Now he'll tuck it down and run with it. Gets a block from Fusen and from Graham Christie. Takes a shot as he's bumped out of bounds by Chris Wilson, but Cheen with the big pickup inside the 20 to about the 18. A 19-yard run by Ryan Cheen, who has gotten it done tonight with his feet on a couple of occasions. He's a senior. He's pretty unflappable. Took a big shot there, but not before he gets 19. 4 carries for Cheen, 51 yards. Of course, one of the best in recent memory to play for Lodi. Nick Lott, a pretty good one a couple years back. Scott Mackey as well. They've had good signal callers under the tutelage of Todd Dillon. Gillingham takes it up the field. Inside the 5 to the 4. That's a 14-yard pass play as Gillingham slipped a tackle. Looked like he was going to take it in. And Lodi moving the ball down the field in a hurry. They've had it for a minute exactly, and they have it 1st and goal. On 1st and goal, touchdown! Touchdown for Lodi. It's the quarterback, Cheen, and the lamp is lit. From 4 yards out, and just like that, Lodi is back in it, still with 8:35 to go. They score in a minute 12 seconds, going 69 yards in 6 plays. Cheen had the big run, a couple of completions as well, one to Gillingham and one to Council. And Council on for the important extra point to try and make it a 7-point game. Fusen to hold, Shepard to snap. And Council gets it through. 21-14 St. Mary's. 8:35 to decide who moves on to play in the section semifinals. After Lodi moves it down the field, matching the touchdown of St. Mary's. St. Mary's had the 14-play drive that ate up better than 6.5 minutes. Here's the point after from Council. See if we can take a look at the touchdown as well. As Ryan Cheen, both quarterbacks so good on the move as well, and also good size. And the Lodi flag being waved here at the Great Bowl. You can see kind of the bottom of your picture as the Flame fans are excited after the touchdown from Ryan Cheen, the senior quarterback. Moving off to the left and fighting his way just to the goal line. You see him getting across there. Well done, Sean Schrock. Eric Alves with you on the Comcast SJTV Sports High School Football Game of the Week, along with Sean Schrock, Maurice Patterson, Kenny McCann, Nicole Ferran, Adam Cheshire, and Michael January. And there's an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against St. Mary's. I did not see the flag thrown. But goodness, a bad time for that. St. Mary's have had some big penalties here tonight. And so Council going to kick off from the 45. At the 45, he's going to kick off. And do you onside it if you're Lodi? Maybe. Or he's going to kick it out of the end zone. Those are probably the 2 options that will come from this one. And we're told maybe something was said on the sideline. That's why we didn't see it. But that's at least 3, I believe maybe 4 personal fouls against St. Mary's. And the Rams have to be careful here. They don't get the sneak attack, maybe an onside. As Council's kicking off of the 45 of St. Mary's. It is an onside kick, and St. Mary's recovers it. Let's see who's at the bottom there for St. Mary's. It's Mark Silva, wouldn't you know, one of the senior leaders who Tony Frank says really leads by example. So I think a good idea there by Lodi. Just had the sure hands there of Mark Silva. And now St. Mary's with the ball at their own 30, leading by 7. They're going to try and wilt away some time, but Mettler and Pinkard make sure that Doug Martin does not go anywhere. And you can tell now the momentum appears to be on the side of Lodi. The 16th carry of the night there for Doug Martin. And the first meeting between these two schools this year, of course, now respectively in the TCAL and the SJAA. Second time we've seen Lodi on TV this year. Third time we have seen St. Mary's here in week 12, in essence, of the high school football season. On 2nd and 10, Pete Murdoka goes down. Pinkard gets to him. Richard Pinkard, who didn't play the first half of the season for Lodi, but comes up with maybe the play of the year from him for the Flames. And a loss of 8 on that sack. 3rd and 18 upcoming. Pinkard, a big-time play there for the Flame defense. And the fans on the Lodi side are standing. 3rd and 18. To pick up a first down, St. Mary's must get to the 41. Flames down 7. 7 minutes to play in this contest. Murdoka looking for Jimmer Rigby. He cannot hold it. Almost got to it. It would have been more than enough for the first down, but it goes incomplete, and St. Mary's goes 3 and out. So the Lodi defense comes through, although they let Jimmer Rigby get free. Again, they're lucky that pass wasn't a half yard shorter. Still quite an effort by Ben Jimmer Rigby. Look how close this was. He gave it the effort, just a little too far. So Capravisa to punt. Not really rushed again. Fusen near midfield, about the 48. Breaks a couple tackles. Fusen refusing to go down. Finally does around the 40. A return of 12, possibly 13 yards. And Lodi on St. Mary's side of the field at the 39-yard line. Down by 7, but with all kinds of time. Down by 14 on 2 occasions in this game, Lodi has been, but here they are. A drive away from tying it with 6:43 to play. Now the ball spotted at the 38. Matt Fusen, first down, bounces to the outside, slipped as he went back inside. Mark Silva covers him there. And so Fusen gets 5 on first down, does Matt Fusen. Averages 5 yards per carry, gets a lot of tough, hard inside yardage. 18 carries for 108. Not many long runs, did have one of 30. That's about it for the long runs, but does get the tough yardage. Of course, no reason for Lodi to be in a hurry. Still more than 6 minutes to go in this contest. 2nd down and 5. Flea flicker. Touchdown, Lodi. Chad De Niro from Ryan Sheen. The flea flicker works. We're a point after away from being tied. What a call there by Todd Dillon. The former Houston Gambler gambles there. And De Niro has the touchdown, his 3rd receiving score. That one 33 yards. Wow. And so Lodi scored the last time around in a minute 12. Here, they score in 50 seconds, 2 plays. Council to tie it if it's good. Low snap, nice job by Fusen. It's good, 21-21. Would you expect anything less? This, after all, is the game of the week. The flea flicker, Fusen, the handoff, tossed it back to Ryan Cheen. 33 yards later, Chad De Niro, touchdown, Lodi. The shirtless flagman is excited. So here comes the touchdown from Lodi. Of course, everybody's gonna bite when Fusen has it. Shovels it back to Cheen. Cheen had plenty of time, lets it rip. He has thrown for a couple of scores and run for another. And look at De Niro laying out. Yes, this is round 2 of the playoffs. De Niro takes it in, and we are tied. Lodi has come back from 14 down twice, and we are tied now. 9 of 13 for Ryan Cheen. 110 yards, 2 scores, throwing, 1 rushing. 5:53 to decide it. Council. A short kick about the 14 for Wilson. He's hammered across the field. Did the ball come loose? Lodi trying to say that it did. The officials say no way. What a turn of events that would have been. And so decent field position for St. Mary's at the 23. Here's the return by Wilson. Let's see when the ball popped out. Wilson took a pretty good hit. It's down there. Hard to tell, though, certainly, if his knees were down or not. Now the Great Bull is rocking. Chance of defense in a 21-21 game. Drop off to Martin. Loses his footing and loses 6 yards. Martin trying to make cuts and just had nowhere to go. And so St. Mary's went 3 and out on their last drive after the 14-play touchdown drive. What happens here? And there are a couple of Lodi fans who decided to paint their bodies as well. Remember, St. Mary's, all their wins this year, they scored 28 or more. All their losses, 21 or less. For them right now, they're at 21. Don't know if it means anything. It has to this point. 2nd and 16. Murdoka complete. And you know who it is. Ben Jimmer Rigby. Across the 35 to the 38, right around a 20-yard hookup. And whenever St. Mary's has seemed like they're in trouble, they go to Ben Jimmer Rigby. His 7th catch for 129, and he has 2 scores. First down, St. Mary's. 17 of 26 for Murdoka, 214 yards. At the 38 for St. Mary's, their own. Doug Martin on the move across the 40. Fusen and others there. There is some extracurricular down the field between a receiver and a DB. I don't believe a flag was thrown. There it was over there. Martin picked up 4, so it's 2nd and 6. No flag, just some hostility. Clock moving. Now, under 4 minutes to go in this second round playoff game. The winner to play either Pittman or West on the road next week. The loser, their fine season is done. Murdoka gonna try and run for it. And he's held up. Looked like he had some room, but Galvan and others held him up. And it might have been Brayton Dillon, the first man to get Murdoka. And Pete Murdoka gets a couple. So it will be 3rd down and a short 4, long 3. We'll say short 4. A stop here and Lodi gets it back. A first down. Obviously, the drive continues for St. Mary's. Approaching 3 minutes to go. The fans in a frenzy. Third down. Pass is too long for James Patterson. Big hit was delivered as well by Chad De Niro. It goes incomplete, and St. Mary's will have to punt it back to Lodi. The Flames, can they pull off the improbable again? Murdaka led Patterson a little too far, and De Niro, even if Patterson had held it, would have been there to deliver the blow. Nick Copraviza to punt for St. Mary's. Fuson waiting at the 25. Can the dream season continue for Lodi? A team that is perfect in single-digit games. A fake, though. A fake, and Silva. It is Silva who has it. What a gutty call. Can you believe that? Mark Silva, the snap went to him, and he picked up the necessary yardage. He needed about 3.5, and he got 4.5. Wow, that's a gutsy call. Mark Silva, of course, has played some fullback over his St. Mary's career, and he battled to pick up that yardage. The ball's at midfield. So the drive continues for St. Mary's with 2:50 to go in the game. First the flea flicker, then the fake. Brum can't hold it. Again, it was De Niro. Chad De Niro, who battled an ankle injury early in the year, but has been healthy and good in the second half of the season. Had a pick, in fact, to end the game last week against Golden Valley. The incompletion puts Murdaka at 17 of 28, so approaching 30 passes. Will probably get there before the night is over. 2:45 showing on the clock. It was just 7-0 at the half in favor of St. Mary's. Lodi was down 14-0 and 21-7. They have come back to tie it here at 21. 2nd and 10 for St. Mary's. Brum slips, but he holds on to it. And Brum will be about 2 yards, maybe 1.5 yards shy of the first down. Let's see where the officials spot it. On the 29th pass attempt from Pete Murdaka, now up to 2:23, and so it's a full yard short. 3rd and a full yard. The ball at about the 41.5, maybe the 42. Martin goes into the backfield now. Murdaka, though, throwing. The pass was deflected at the line of scrimmage by Fuson. Matt Fuson comes through big time because open was Benjamin Rigby. He would have had the first down and more. Matt Fuson with the defensive play of the night, so now it is 4th down. 4th down here. And there is a timeout taken by St. Mary's. Leaves St. Mary's with 2. And Fuson, who last week blocked a point after against Golden Valley, and of course that came through huge because Lodi came away with the 17-16 victory on the field goal by Matt Council of 36 yards. Of course, he won the game in overtime this year against Lincoln, and will he light the flame again with maybe a game-winning field goal tonight? First, his defense needs a stop. Council also kicked a game winner last year in OT against West on this field in a game that we saw. So we know certainly if Lodi can get a stop, they have faith and confidence in Council. They only have to get to maybe the 20. It would be a 37-yard field goal or so. They wouldn't have to go the full distance. If St. Mary's picks up this first down, then potentially they are about 20, 25 yards away from a game-winning field goal, or obviously they would take the touchdown as well. But man, a flea flicker for a touchdown to tie it at 21. And then St. Mary's on 4th and about 4 from their own 45, 46. They fake the punt, direct snap to Mark Silva, and he picks it up. So Lodi hoping for the defense, St. Mary's hoping for the offense here on 4th and about 1, might be slightly more than 1. With the ball at the 41.5. The Great Bowl is rocking on each side. Empty backfield right now for St. Mary's. Maybe Murdaka will keep. Looking to throw. Down he goes. Justin Metler. And so Lodi will also have great field position with the ball at the 47. The sack by Metler. Murdaka never saw him coming. There's 1:56 to play in the game. The ball's at the 47 for Lodi, their own. They really only have to go about 33 or 34 yards to give Council a shot to win it. And you see Murdaka, he's looking over to his right. Never saw Metler, the strong side backer, coming. 1:56 to go in a tie game. Fuson, stopped by Brum, but there's a flag. Was it a face mask? St. Mary's has definitely hurt themselves with penalties tonight. And it's a personal foul face mask, the third face mask personal foul tonight against St. Mary's. And their 8th flag of the night. And so that's 15 easy ones. And Brum, I think, is saying, I didn't get his face mask. So Lodi already up onto St. Mary's side of the field, and they're at the 37. But of course, if you're Lodi, you want the touchdown first because Council did slip on a field goal last week. You don't want to leave it up to that, though you know he is capable. 1st and 10. Cheen out to Council, stays in bounds, and then he's shoved out around the 31, about a 7-yard pickup. Council obviously more than just a kicker, playing corner and receiver. Did a nice job to tightrope the sideline. 1:36 to go. Lodi obviously trying to win this one in regulation, though they've won an overtime game this year and did so last year as well. Cheen talking with Council. Got to hurry up, make sure they don't use all the play clock. 2nd and a long 3. Cheen in some trouble. Ball's loose. Ball's on the ground. Fuson recovers it though. Matt Fuson, after Mark Silva stripped it out of there. Silva had almost saved the day, and Lodi might want to start thinking about some timeouts. Not quite yet. Well, it's 3rd down. Maybe you want to call timeout and think about it. And the ball rolls forward. No, actually about a loss of a yard. We'll say 3rd and 4 upcoming here. Mark Silva almost made the play of the night, but I guess Silva does because he recovers it. Third and 4, a short 4, a long 3. We're less than a minute to go. The field goal from here would be 48, maybe 49. Pass is incomplete. Sorrell in coverage of Chad De Niro. Would have been right at the marker. So it's 4th down. Do you try the field goal? It would be 48 yards. Council is capable on a dry field. I don't know on a wet, muddy field. Before the game, he kicked for a long time. Most of the time, he had good footing. Once or twice, though, he slipped. 48 and a half seconds to go. It looks like Lodi is going to go for it. 48's probably too long on a wet, muddy field. They are going for it. They need about 4 to continue the drive. Cheen, pass is caught, but Jim Rigby makes the tackle, and then he picks up the fumble. It would have been St. Mary's ball either way. Cameron Sales was the man who caught it. It appears that the officials are saying it was a fumble, and Jim Rigby comes through again. Sales might even have lost a yard or certainly went for no gain. So on downs, it goes back to St. Mary's, and they are ruling it a fumble. The 3rd of the night by Lodi because some extra yardage gain there by St. Mary's. Up at the 42, they have 2 timeouts left, just 39 seconds though. Jim Rigby again. One of the best performances I think we've seen by an individual in 9 years here on the Game of the Week. Flag flies, St. Mary's. Their 9th penalty upcoming, I believe. Here's Dennis Velasquez. And yes, it is against St. Mary's, so march them back 5, 1st and 15. Ninth flag against St. Mary's. Lodi, by my count, has 1. 1st and 15, ball back around the 37. They probably should have put time back on the clock. That's going to be picked off by Gillingham. Gillingham back to the 20. And so he picks it off. Remember, Gillingham had the interception that ended regulation against Lincoln. And so he has a pick here that, well, at least ends St. Mary's for regulation. And if you're Lodi, do you try and move the ball up the field or just take a knee and say, hey, let's go to OT and try and get it done in the extra session again this year? What a contest this has turned into. Lodi has the ball around their own 19, only 27 seconds. They do have 3 timeouts. They will run with Fusen. Safe call there, because if he breaks it, then you try and move it. If he doesn't, no harm, no foul. Fegma Bila gets Fusen after a 9-yard gain. 19th carry for Matt Fusen for 117 yards. Timeout taken by Lodi. 2 left, 18 seconds on the clock. What a contest this has turned into. It was kind of a ho-hum affair, 7-0. After 1 half of play. And we get a score from Weston Pittman, 22-21 Pittman, with 4 minutes left in that contest. So they are going down to the wire as well. This is how high school football playoff games should be. A tied game here, a 1-point game in Tracy. Of course, West in the midst of an 8-game winning streak. They beat Pittman in the playoffs a year ago, but sounds like they're going to have to come from behind if they hope to come away with the victory. 2nd and a yard for Lodi at their own 29. Only 18 seconds left in regulation. Cheen in trouble, and he will be sacked. And that's probably going to do it for regulation. We're down to 7 seconds. And so, guess what? We go to overtime. Overtime at the Great Bowl. No surprise here for Lodi in SJAA history. There have now been 9 overtime games since the rule was reinstituted in 2002. This is the 5th overtime game Lodi has been in. In 2002, they lost to Franklin 14-11. In 03, they lost to West 28-21. Last year, though, they beat West on a Mount Council field goal here at the Great Bowl on SJTV. And then, of course, earlier this year on SJTV, they beat Lincoln to put them on the road to the SJA championship. And here, their first playoff appearance since 1993. First home games, of course, they were home last week as well, since the mid-'80s. Remember, you go from the 10, each team with an equal number of possessions, and you go until one team scores more than the other in a given possession. The captains will meet again, of course, for the coin flip. And really, the idea is to win the flip and defer in the first overtime, because then you'll find out what the other team did and what you have to do to win. If the other team doesn't score, obviously you kick the field goal like Lodi did with Matt Council against Lincoln. If they get a field goal, you need a touchdown. If they get a touchdown, that's the only way it backfires, because you have some pressure on you. So this coin flip, relatively important. Sauceda, Cheen, Duenas, and Lucas Garrett, part of this senior class that has helped bring back outstanding football play here at Lodi. A group with great commitment, according to Todd Dillon. There's Tony Franks and his young St. Mary's Rams. They led by 14 on a couple of occasions. Then kind of had to battle there at the end, because it looked like Lodi was going to get the chance for at least a field goal. But then the play by Jim Rigby, and then, of course, Gillingham with the interception to end regulation. And the officials discussing matters with both staffs. They were over on the St. Mary's side with Tony Franks. Here they're talking to Todd Dillon. There's Dennis Fulaski. And remember, Matt Council is a big weapon here in overtime. He's kicked 2 overtime field goal game winners in his career, and of course 3 total, including 1 last week, 17-16 against Golden Valley. And a very similar game to a week ago. Lodi was down 16-7. They came back to win. Here they were down 14-0 and 21-7. And the entire Flame squad will come out. The captains for St. Mary's, Nisby, Barrows, Beals, Gonzalez, and Mark Silva. So many great performances in this game. Cheen, Murdaka, the quarterbacks. Mark Silva, Justin Metler. Remember the sack he had of Murdaka. Benjamin Rigby, Gillingham, De Niro, Fusen. This has been good stuff. Been fun to watch. Kind of a privilege in a lot of ways to broadcast, no question. Remember, St. Mary's, that key number for them is 28. They score 28 or more, they win. 21 or less, they lose. That's been the case in their previous 11 games. And St. Mary's will receive or actually will have the ball first. Of course, there's no kicking. They will have it first here in the overtime period. Again, if you score a touchdown, you put the pressure on the opposition. If you don't score, I'm guessing Lodi will kick a field goal on their first play. They did against Lincoln and, of course, got the victory. Is it Lodi in the semifinals for the first time since 1976, or St. Mary's? 3 straight years. Of course, no time in OT. We play until somebody scores more than the other team after an equal number of possessions. 3 each way, we keep going. No score each way, we keep going. 6 or 7 each way, we keep going until one team scores more. So here we are in overtime. Of course, this is the first overtime game for St. Mary's, second of the year for Lodi. Don't know if that matters, but that is the case. And the Lodi fans, after a few minutes of rest between the end of regulation and the start here of OT, now have their throats rested and chance of defense. We go from the 10, 21-21, first possession of OT. Pete Murdaka looking deep, a CG, no, he was out. Incomplete, of course, you just need 1 foot in, but Brian Asigi, both feet were out. 32 pass attempts now by Pete Murdaka. And so it's second down and goal. As we near 10 o'clock here on the 25th of November at the Great Bowl in Lodi. Doug Martin heading to the end zone. Martin, touchdown! And so St. Mary's gets the score, and they're a point away from that magical 28. Martin from 10 yards out. He's been slowed much of the night by the defense of Lodi, but there he darts to the end zone and scores. Only 68 yards. Remember, he had been on such a tear, but gets the important touchdown. And here's an equally as important point after from Murdaka, who has made 27 in a row. Kick is good. 28-21, St. Mary's. Now Lodi must get 7 to prolong the game, or of course can go for 2 and try and win it in the first OT. But Doug Martin comes through on the second play of overtime, a touchdown for him. And now chance of defense across the field on the St. Mary's sideline and the crowd. And St. Mary's hits that all-important number when they've scored 28 or more. They have not lost this year. There's an uncovered receiver in the slot for Lodi. St. Mary's trying to call timeout, and they do. Chad De Niro had nobody on him. And that would have been an easy touchdown had Ryan Sheen recognized it. I'm guessing he would have. St. Mary's saves themselves. They're calling the timeout. And that's what Tony Franks is thinking, I bet. He's got a bit of a smile and saying, yeah, good thing we called timeout, guys. But he is a defensive stop away, and his Rams are, from going to a section semifinal for a 3rd straight year. I'm actually surprised it's happened as many times as it has in Division I. We mentioned 88 through 90, Merced. All 3 times they went to the section final. Same for Atwater, 96 through 98. Nevada Union, 92 through 94. Lincoln, of course, 2000 through 2002. 3 straight semis. And Cordova, though, the record, 5 straight semis, 76 through 80. There is Joe Brum, part of the St. Mary's defense. Somewhat maligned this year, but they can forget the early season 0-4 and some of the big deficits they've faced this year. They can get a stop here in overtime and get the victory and move on to the semifinal. First play for Lodi. Matt Fusen, close to the 5. Mark Silva, the tackler, who has raised his level of play. And, of course, he played in the postseason as a sophomore a couple years back, and then, of course, the run to the section championship last year. Fusen got 4. The ball's at about the 5.5. For Lodi, they must have a touchdown and the extra point to keep the game going, or, of course, can get the win with a 2-point conversion if they so choose. Second down, fake by Cheen. Slipping, and he goes down. Junior Fagmabila, the sack. Fagmabila, the 6', 242-pound junior. Big-time defensive play there. And so it is 3rd and goal, and the sack brings the ball back to about the 12. St. Mary's looking to get into the semifinal at 6-6. Lodi does not want the dream season, one of the best in school history, to end shy of that semifinal. 3rd and goal back at the 12. Cheen looking a little long for Matt Council. Ben Jimmer-Rigby in coverage. And so it has come down to this 4th and goal with the ball spotted at the 12. St. Mary's by 7. We're in the first overtime period. Lodi must have the touchdown or the game is over. About a yard too long for Council. And Lodi will take a timeout here to discuss what could be the final play of their season. Of course, the first win against Lincoln since the mid-90s. The first win against Tokay since 94. First time in the playoffs since 93 for Lodi. Trying to beat St. Mary's for the first time since 91. Tony Franks, 6 out of the 7 years he's been the head coach at St. Mary's in the playoffs. And in his last 4 years, counting this as the 4th, his teams are 7-2 in the playoffs, looking to go 8-2 here at the Great Bowl. The winner plays either Pittman or West on the road next week in a game that, if it's at West, will bring you for sure. If it's in Turlock at Pittman, we'll see. That game going down to the wire. This one is at the wire here in overtime. Nobody is sitting. Everybody up. 4th and the season from the 12 for Lodi. Their fans believing. 2 receivers to each side for the Flames. Looking for Gillingham. It falls incomplete. There's no flag. It is over. The Rams into the playoffs at 4-6. They've gone on the road twice, winning last week at Modesto, and here in overtime, finally the dream is over for the Flames. It was a valiant comeback down, both 14-0 and 21-7, but St. Mary's gets the touchdown first, and they get to 28. They have not lost this year, and they've scored that total. Doug Martin with the winning touchdown, and that says it all. Matt Fewson, who's been a warrior this year for the Flames. They look to go to Gillingham. There was double coverage over there, and many of the students from St. Mary's rush onto the field. Probably hard for them to believe that after an 0-4 start, St. Mary's has won 6 of their last 8, and they will play for the right to go to the section championship next Friday night for the 3rd season in a row, either at West in a rematch. Of course, West won 17-14 in week 10 of the regular season, or at Pittman, a game that was, in fact, going down to the wire. And many of the Lodi fans clapping the season their team had as they came to the sideline. A lot of hugs as well. Benjamin Rigby and Matt Fewson hugging, 2 players who were phenomenal tonight and have been all season long. Lodi, the dream is over at 8-4, but what a year it was. It was a year of first, but they couldn't get that first win against St. Mary's. St. Mary's, well, they may be 6-6, but you know what? They're playing for the right to go to the section championship. They are the defending champions as well, so they still have a chance to defend that title. 28-21, a final in overtime. Doug Martin, the game winner for the Rams. So we'll either talk to you from Tracy next Friday night, maybe from Turlock. Don't quite know yet, as that Pittman and West game was going down to the wire. But high school football playoff action, about as good as it gets here in the second round, the CIF Sac Joaquin section, Les Schwab Tires football playoffs. And now St. Mary's 8-2 in their last 10 playoff games. Job well done by the Rams. For our entire crew, Kenny McCann, Nicole Ferran, Maurice Patterson, Sean Schrock, Adam Cheshire, and Michael January, I'm Eric Alves. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. We hope to talk to you next Friday night. Until then, take care.
This program was a presentation of Comcast's SJTV. San Joaquin Television. SJTV.